Hello and welcome to Cat Wonderland, the radio show, not the podcast. That's tomorrow, people. I know you're excited. Shut up, Christmas tree. Trying to steal the show again. What a turd. Right, tonight, first of all, we must say happy birthday to the one and only, the legendary Santi Cazorla. He's 33 years old today, 180 games for Arsenal, 29 goals, 44 assists. I read that tweet. I do hope it was from today, because if it wasn't, then I've made it up. So tonight we have two people making their debut on the radio show. We're going to get this done in under an hour, because one of them has to go back to work before they get fired. So I asked Mike from Gooners in the USA what would be a decent intro for Andy. Most of them I can't bloody use. So, so for Andy is Mike's bastard son and is the voice of reason on the Gooners in the USA. Andy, first of all, tell people you're not American.
I am not American, no. From Ham Utd and moved to America when I was 12. So I've got the accent, but I'm English at heart.
In 12 years. My mum's been living in this country for, bloody hell, 51 years, and she still can barely speak the language. Hello, potato. That's all she can say in English. Right, and secondly, we have Mr. Femster, who you may recognise from, he's been on a couple of transfer deadline day shows. It is possibly three. Him along with Stan and Comandante, I think it is, whose name I can't remember his first name. I said to those three, put it in the chat last night, which one of you three? I promised you all that you'd come on as soon next time I'm hosting it. And Femster, you were the one who pulled out the short straw. What went wrong?
Oh, mate. I don't even know why I said yes now.
You've gone and John Welshed it, haven't you? You've Jona'd it. It's all falling apart around our knees. Are you both excited?
Yes, wonderful time. We have to trying to do some therapy, don't we?
Excellent. Right. I'm on strict instructions to go to the chat window and say hello to people, because apparently Mr. Davis says that is the decent thing to do. So we've got Gunner93, Jove82. I must say thank you very much for my bag of dicks, you cheeky monkey. We've got And235100. That's just annoying. I want to know what become before the and. We've got Abdul Farrar. If anyone's got any weird names, I'm probably going to fuck it up. They were in there first. The Walrus and the Hedgehog. They're both there, busy working their way around America cooking. I think that's what his Twitter says. Frogooner is there. That's another person who I said I'm going to get on after he had quite an impressive transfer deadline day show. Who else have we got on there? Daniel Cronin is always there, lurking around. Formerly Noza. They've retracted their own message. That's a great way to start the chat window. Matt Sanasai. Matt Sanasai. I haven't got my fucking glass on. I can't see shit. Stephen Edwards. J Rob. Loki. Loki's there making sure everything's right. We haven't got any of our lot in there, so you lot can swear and do whatever you want, because I'm the only one here that has got the ability to ban you, block you, and do what you want, and I can't because I'm busy pointing this shit in the right way. Ahmed is there, you cheeky Russian git. He's probably freezing his ass off, and it's about 1,000 degrees, minus 1,000 degrees there. Who else have we got in there? Rudy. I don't know why I want to say Bastos. Is there a player called Rudy Bastos? There must be. So it's Rudy Rastlos.
Rudy Bastos.
Yeah. Anyway, I think he might be Argentinian. And Petito. That's another one who had a magnificent transfer deadline day. So he's on the. He said it's minus 24 degrees in Russia. Fucking hell, man. He's from London, so it's not that much warmer here. So it's a Petito. He's gonna come on one as well, but I need to arrange that to be probably a weekend game. Trying to get Americans on here now, because it's probably 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon work time. So that's why our very own Colonial Cannon is hardly ever here. Ryan Hocking, he's there, and Kyle Palmer. And Matthew Wright, and there you go, Jace. I think I've done enough. If I missed anyone else, Stan's there. That's Stan the Man 450. He's the other person who was invited on tonight, and he let us down. Captain Wow the second, and he saved me. No, there will be no saving tonight. Right, first of all, I'll start off with Andy, because he is used to podcasting. Quick thoughts on the game, the lineup, and the formation. This could be very, very short.
Yeah, I thought the formation was okay to start, because we do need to rotate going into some heavy fixture congestion. I've never liked Giroud up front by himself. I thought the match was as planned out to West Ham. I mean, they parked the bus. They were good on the counter. I just, with Giroud up front, we had no movement. We were stagnant, and it was disappointing. Was that short enough, Danny?
Well, you can possibly squeeze a few more words in because we've got to be done in less than 50 minutes because you've got to work. So is that it? Is that your final summary?
Yeah, it was a frustrating match to watch. And yeah, I mean, I wasn't too upset with the lineup when it came out. I thought it was great to see Jack, but again, I'm a fan of Giroud. I just don't like him up front by himself.
Jolly good. I didn't mean that Petito was American. I mean people in North America, because our very own Dom is Australian, and he counts as my North American load of people. Yeah, but I didn't know Petito isn't there. Could you tell me where he's from? I can't remember where it's from. Anyway,
Canada? Sure.
No, it's an island somewhere. Oh no, maybe that's don't ask me. I have no fucking idea. I barely know where I'm from. Femster, can you top what Andy said there with your trying to hold the tears in? It wasn't very good, was it?
Yeah, no, it wasn't very good. What can I say? What can I add to that? I'm going to disagree about the team selection, mainly because I think a lot of people have this fascination with Nacho Monreal, that he's an excellent player. Look, I think he's a good player, improved player, but if you actually look at a lot of the goals that we concede, you will see that he's involved in a lot of those goals, and not just the goals, a lot of the panic that happens in defense is sometimes down to him. So to then put him at centre back in a 2 is frightening, to be honest. That actually just had my heart jumping a bit out. And it's like we've seen it before. It didn't work, and we just do it again. And it's like we just keep repeating the same, mistakes. But yeah, Nate. I mean, if I talk about first looking at the team, that would have been my first impression is, okay, why? And then the second one would be this Iwobi thing. I don't know he hasn't proved anything this season, let's be honest. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but this season he has not proved anything. The Man United game, he played all right. That was coming on as sub, but tonight was just, I didn't see why he was starting. And then to make matters worse, I looked at the bench and I said, okay, if we're then going to start with this formation, look at the players that we've got on the bench. I don't see what the point of a Theo Walcott is anymore if you can't even get on the bench, to be honest, especially when let's be honest, we knew West Ham were going to come with one tactic, which is to defend deep. You knew at some point you would have to make substitutions to change it. And at the end of the game that we haven't won, we've made 2 substitutions, and that's just frightening, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and they were made way too late into the match as well. I mean, we saw in the 50th, 60th minute, it wasn't changing.
Yeah, that's true. But Femster, you were saying about playing Monreal at centre back. How would you feel if you're the 22-year-old Callum Chambers, who's now been at the club 3 seasons, and Wenger would rather play a back 4 than play you in a back 3? I mean, how's that as a young and up and coming player going to make you feel? You can kind of maybe Holding may not be expecting to play because he's only just recently joined the club. But when you've been at the club and Chambers was £16 million or something like that, you've got to be angry, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying not to raise my voice, to be honest with you, because I'm actually fuming. But we just gave Chambers a new contract as well, which is like all these decisions where did these random club decisions that happen at club level, then you see it happening on the pitch, and you're like, it's just a systematic issue with the club. Why are you giving players new contracts when you know they're not your first choice or they're not in your plans? Let's be honest. Chambers isn't in Wenger's plans. He was only on the bench tonight because Mertesacker just seems to be shot, to be honest with you. And you've got, like I said, players like Theo Walcott. What is the point? You might as well have sold them in the summer, got them out on loan. He's probably played, 20 minutes of Premier League football this season? Like, what is the point of all of this? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, our very own Dom is in the chat room, people, so he will take no grief. Unless you're a honey badger or a skunk, then he may follow you for a while taking photos of you. But other than that, he doesn't care about a single one of you. So don't fuck Dom off. Yes. So Andy, talking about the defence, do you agree with Femster that it does seem a little bit silly that at the moment we seem to be chopping from 4 at the back to 3 at the back to at times it looked like we were playing 5 at the back. Why have you got any understanding of why Wenger will be doing that apart from injuries?
It's mind-boggling, and I completely agree with Femster. When you look at our season, Nacho has been at the root of a lot of these goals, and the only explanation is he's not a center back. And I tweeted that out during the match that he chases the ball too often. He'll drift out wide too often, and it opens a gaping hole down our center. And Koscielny is just left by himself. And when you have someone like Xhaka, who's not prone to defending well, who doesn't drop back as much as he probably should, you are just leaving players to be able to run through. It's just, I echo what both of you have said too. Why give Chambers this new contract if he's not going to get into our first 11? And it makes more sense to have him play and put Nacho out left. And I don't really think that this back 4-3-2 that we're playing is good enough at this moment. We just need to be solid. I mean, if you look at our away record as well, I mean, we've won 2 out of 9 this season, and you know that West Ham are going to sit and defend deep, and you know they're going to counterattack, and yet we still play so high up the pitch. And I just think that Nacho is just way out of his depth, and it's something that needs to be addressed in January, because he can't keep playing there. He's not a natural center back. You got to give him credit. He stepped up a couple times this season, but more often than not, he's just in the wrong position, chasing the balls down, and he's leaving us vulnerable.
How does it feel to be on a podcast without Mike shouting over you every time you have anything to say?
He's texting me right now, shouting over me.
Right, a few more people that have joined in the group. We've got Mr. Ben Murphy, Matt Wright, Ian Taylor, Alexander G, Akash, Ali, David Irvine. Oh, here we go. Sleep 99. Oh, I'll tell you what, I could win a medal at sleeping. I could sleep for 14 hours a day and still want more. Vizar, who else is in there? There's one I haven't seen before. Oh, this bloody page thing. You just go, oh, there we go. You can't, but that isn't a name. SRBO. No, you just mistyped that. You need to go and sort your life out. That's terrible. Who else is there? Anyone else in there? Oh, I saw one that said Saint Columbo, Jesse Hitman, and Henrik Ryden. It's funny, if Scandinavian German names, I can get those quite well. But when it comes to other names with too many vowels in, if anything Welsh, I'm fucked. Don't forget to give a thumbs up, people, if only for Femster and Andy, because otherwise they might never come back on again. Which means if they do come back on again, you ain't going to have to put up with Jonah John and all the other people that have been driving you crazy all season for hours on end, crying about how terrible we are. Well, I think actually we've been going now for, how long does that say? 12 bloody minutes. We haven't even got into the game. Right, so 6th minute. Ashley Maitland-Niles.
Ainsley.
Conservative. Lovely right-footed cross to Giroud. Even you want to talk about Ashley getting first team start in Premier League games?
You know what? He's played well when he's been given the opportunity. I didn't think he was bad today. He took, you know what, he's done what Iwobi has done on a couple. He steps up when he needs to, and he's proving that he can push for a starting 11 position. I would rather, like I said, had Nacho in there with Chambers behind him, but I thought he played well. He had a couple crosses that went into the box. He made some good runs. There were a couple moments you could tell he's light with experience, but for the most part, I thought he played pretty well.
He played well, but we've got this fascination with playing players out of position.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a left back. Let's be honest. I know tonight he didn't have any defending to do, but there was a couple of times he had defending to do, and it was a bit of panic. They just showed one on replay now where him and Nacho, someone just cut right in between them. So we got to decide what we're doing with our players. What position are they? Why are they playing out of position? What's going on there? But yeah, like I said, he played really well tonight. Fair credit to him.
So if you were Ashley Ainsley Maitland-Niles Conservative, would you be going, I'm getting first team minutes, I can show what I can do, or would you be going, shouldn't be playing in this position, you're not seeing the best of me?
Well, they did that Europa League interview last week, didn't they? He was sitting next to Wenger in a press conference, and they asked him that question, and he just smiled and said, they actually said, have you spoken to Wenger about this? And Wenger kind of chimed in and said, yeah, we speak about it, but I don't really know how much how much talking Wenger does to the players, as in, do they get? Is he being coached in a position now? Like, what is he now? A left back, a wing back? Like, what would? Who knows? Oxlade-Chamberlain, what would he be playing right back tonight if he was still at Arsenal? Who knows what anyone plays anymore?
He's the new Oxford with ball control. Because he put that ball in and he did another identical ball to Giroud later on in the game, and both of them he had to stop, go on his right foot and put it in like that.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the second one. So anyway, 13 minutes, Arnautovic's headed offside goal. Xhaka just stood there. He was like that. Oh, I think I can see Santa and his sleigh. And the back three just stood there and went, all right. Oh, Arnautovic just walked through us all. I saw that. It was like a scene from The Matrix, Andy.
Yeah, no, I thought the same thing with Nacho. They were just literally watching a meteor go over the heads. And I thought to myself, at least if you're Nacho, you should have checked behind you to see if you had a player running in. With Xhaka, defensive midfielder or central midfielder, you're running back, you're checking behind you, or excuse me, to your to your blind side. But Nacho didn't even check to see if there was anyone behind him, and that right there just shouts he's not a center back. And I mean, we got very lucky with that because it was a hair offside. But at the end of the day, Danny, I mean, this merry-go-round of just shambolic defending.
Are we, Femster, are we being a little bit too harsh considering we went away and kept a clean sheet? Why are we moaning? We should only be moaning about the defence so far.
Honestly, how many West Ham? Oh, there was a stat, wasn't there, somewhere in the second half that said West Ham had 34 touches in our half or in dangerous areas, and all I remember was every time they went forward, our defense looking like panic stations, and Petr Cech just being all over the place, flapping and punching at everything.
Yeah.
And considering they only had 34, 35 touches in our half, that's a bit worrying, I think.
I did actually use the word flap 3 times in my notes. We'll see them come up in a bit. Right, so while I've got you, Jack took another kicking for the entire game. Steve Lord Hillwood in our WhatsApp group was constantly puts his most of my notes are coming from what Steve's put in there because I'm watching a game and Steve has a much better eye for football stuff. So a lot of this I've stolen from Steve, but I did tell a few of the others. Jason was putting some good stuff in there, but he made a point that that Loyal made a point that Jack's getting a kick in and he survived the full 90 minutes whilst getting a kick in. Rotation. I think the word Steve used was rotational fouling.
Yeah. Once the first foul went in, I can't remember who put the first foul in, and it wasn't a yellow card. I just knew it was going to be one of those games. And to be honest, I didn't see a lot of other players getting just fouled a lot tonight, like usual away games where teams target our players. It wasn't really a physical kind of game tonight. They weren't breaking up play that much. It's but once the first one went in on Jack, I knew that they were, once the referee didn't give a yellow, I knew that was going to be the pattern of play for him. But he did well to actually keep his calm, because I remember going to the reserve game when he came back against Man City, and he took a couple of those kick-ins. And
that bloke tried to kill him. He ran from the left and he tried to scissor kick
around and got sent off. Yeah, so he did well tonight to keep his cool in the face of a few hefty tackles.
And any quick words on Wilkinson?
Watching rugby?
If I keep it to we can briefly talk about each thing and then we can get through the whole 9 minutes because I've got quite a few notes. And then
I thought Jack was superb today. He was my man of the match. I thought every time he was on the ball, he looked good moving forward. He kept play going. I really wish we could see him and Ozil with Lacazette's movement, because I think they're going to find him in some superb space. But I thought Jack was great. It's excellent to see him back in the starting 11, and that's the type of performance you want to see from him. I know that he's got West Ham in his family, so it's probably a big match for him as well. But I thought he was my man of the match.
Yeah, because Steve was saying that, or Jace was saying that every time that Iwobi got the ball, he no, actually, it was someone, I don't know who it was, one of the people that I'm talking to, and they said it looks like Iwobi is marking Wilshere. So I don't know who said that. They were going mad because every time Iwobi ran after the ball, there'd be massive big gaps in midfield. I don't know why. Iwobi can't play in a midfield 3 like that. I don't think that worked. My next point that I've got is I've put Kerfuffle and Ashley Maitland-Niles. Oh, I'm never going to say Ainsley. I don't know why I've got that. It's in my head now. It's like Chuppa Chuppa. Like the dark. Oh, that's it. Ainsley likes the dark arts, which is, as we all know, is when you like to see a bit of pinching and punching and kicking and getting away with it when the referee's not looking. And Iwobi still seems to struggle with what position he is playing or the tactics the team is playing. Femster, what do you reckon?
I think everyone's struggling with that, to be honest. Because you know what was so funny? The Arsenal.com had one formation, BT Sport had a different formation, and they had Özil in the middle, and we seem to play a different formation on the pitch as well. So Wolby, I don't know. What's his position? That's what they need to decide what these guys' positions are. This is not Ajax of 1990 with great players who can play anywhere. We just need to, and that's why I think a lot of our young players, their development just seems to stifle because they don't know where they're playing half the time, to be honest with you. So you see them come into the first team, people like Reece Nelson, you think, wow, these guys are amazing, good talent. Within a couple of years, they've stagnated because they've played everywhere. We're talking about Callum Chambers before. He's played central midfield. He's played right back. He's played centre back. It just doesn't work. There's too many Phil Joneses in our team, and we need players to know where they're going to play.
Well, I think Jurgen Klopp said it about the Ox a few weeks back, or maybe longer than that. But he said, wait until he actually is coached into the position that he's best at thriving in. And that just goes and shows you that these players aren't. He obviously had a conversation with Jurgen, and Jurgen said, "Where do you feel like you've best played?" And he likely said, "I don't know, because I haven't really been coached in a position, right?"
Yeah, not right back or left back, anywhere but
yeah. So I agree with Femster. It's just you've got these young kids who are developed. Reece Nelson isn't a right wing back. Why are we playing him there? It's just so bizarre. It's so bizarre.
I think part of the reason is the recent change in formation, partway through last season. So I was playing three at the back and then having wing backs. I think the club likes to have the same formation all the way through the club. But for the last 5 or 6 years, the players coming through the club, we haven't been bringing through wing backs. We've been playing left wing and right wing, which is where Reece Nelson and Ainsley and.
But then I saw the youngsters playing earlier this season, and they did play three at the back, but then Reece Nelson was playing as one of the attacking players. But when he comes into the first team, he's playing as a wing back. So all these things, so when he's coming into the team, they're just confused sometimes. And it means when you look at players like Iwobi, what is Iwobi's position? No one knows anymore. When he came in, he was playing left wing. Now he's playing right wing. We don't know what his position is. We don't know, is he a central midfielder? When he was coming in the FA Cup in the first half of his, when he was integrating into the first team, he was playing a number 10 role in the FA Cup matches when Özil wasn't playing. What are these guys' position? And obviously, when you see them start, their progression is stagnating. But then when you watch them for their national teams, they play quite well because they have a set position and set tactics that they're working towards.
Yeah, I was talking to Giles about this and saying, well, because he watches a lot of African football, I said, what is Iwobi's best position? And he said, kind of in the Sanchez Özil role, but more of a free role. And they just let him do what he wants. But he doesn't seem to get knackered after an hour when he plays for Nigeria. But when he plays for us, he is knackered. Which is all a little bit odd. Next bit that had Steve nearly choking on his cornflakes was the I thought 27th minute, Giroud gets clotheslined. The ref sees nothing. I half expected to see your other half, Mike, in the background of a WWF sign saying "You can't see me," and or the people's elbow, or some old shenanigans like that.
He wouldn't show up if they're not lubed to the max in spandex. So,
well, that was. I know he says Giroud is all a bit muscly, but what did you think to that?
It was a rugby tackle from where is he from? New Zealand.
Which one? Which player was it?
Wasn't it Winston Reid?
No. Oh, I'm just looking. He is from somewhere down.
Yeah. Either way, I one of the biggest problems I have with Giroud is how how he does fall a lot. He does have the theatrics about him, and so at the end of the day, it's a shit call to not be. Well, I don't know if I can swear on this, Danny. Referee missed a big one there, but Giroud loves to flail and flop, and so the game moves so quickly. On replay, it looked bad. Femster, I don't know what you think, but for me, it's like if you see, it's like the Suarez. Every time a player goes down, you're thinking, all right, was he actually touched? From a different angle, it looked pretty bad, but the speed that this game was going, I think that was the worst challenge in the match, and we're unfortunate not to get a call there.
Yeah, I think so. I think we were. But like you said, sometimes Jude probably doesn't help himself. The way he goes down, the way he starts flicking, all of that stuff.
Yeah,
probably doesn't help him.
The next two bits we got here is this is just an observation more than anything to talk about. Iwobi hits the post. Now, from that distance, if you said, Iwobi, I want you to hit that post, he'd have missed it 99 times out of 100. Just typical bad luck for Iwobi. That, I mean, that's the kind of goal, if he'd have scored it, it'd have filled the young man full of confidence and he'd have gone on to have a brilliant game. But it's stuff like that that doesn't go for a player when on a bit of a down run. So next bit, the penalty appeal for West Ham. Lanzini and Xhaka tussle. Xhaka leaned backwards while shielding the ball against Lanzini whilst he was all over it trying to get a penalty. Fem, do you think it was a penalty?
No chance. I remember writing that down. Actually, I did write that.
What did you write?
No, I just said if Lanzini, to be honest, if Lanzini wasn't grabbing back, it could have been more of a penalty. But it looked like they were both grabbing each other. So it's quite a good, smart trick by footballers, isn't it? Where you pull someone onto you to fall over. But no chance that was a penalty. So.
Andy?
No, yeah. You know what? I agree with him. Xhaka put himself into a position to shield the ball. Lanzini was trying to go around him. At the end of the day, it's never a pen.
We got a bit of breaking news in the chat box. Apparently, Ty said it's raining. And we have a user called The Rain Affected Us. Good result, considering the conditions, it was raining. And someone did ask a question. Oh, there you go. Rudy has put, Giroud gets usually nothing from the referee because he's a big guy. Your mic is trying to spam us with links to Bag of Dicks. I've just this is all I've got left from my Bag of Dicks. That's all I've got left. I was munching them all the way through the game because I've not had my dinner yet. All I've had to eat is a banana, a coffee, and a cereal bar.
I've got mine right here. Look.
Hold on. I'll click on you. There you go.
Did you get an audio one too?
Audio.
Ridiculous.
I think my box is in the bin. Come on, box, where are you? No, mine was just I think maybe they didn't do it in case it goes through customs and they might think it's a bomb or something.
Yeah, Mike.
Nothing in that. No, nothing for me to sing along to.
Mike loves giving another man a dick, so.
Oh, dear. I've had a mouthful of dicks all day. Jason, our beloved Jason, thought it was all a joke, like the shitter glitter people. But no, Bag of Dicks is actually people who do it. And apparently, if you use your, you can get 10% off via your podcast. But I'm sure if people want to know that, they can go and listen to your podcast and then they can get, you have to listen to get it. You can't just use it and not listen. That's not how these things work.
No, it's not.
Right, what about, I didn't get a pen. Oh no, people are just arguing about. Don't start arguing amongst yourselves, people. Oh, here we go. This is the one I was looking for from Stephen Edwards. Is Bellerin carrying an injury or something? Forgot he was out there today. I did think that. And at one point, he ran the width of the pitch at 900 mile an hour, got the ball, passed it down to Iwobi, and Iwobi put it out. And I thought, oh, for fuck's sake.
Who's going to replace him, though? This is the question.
I'd like to have seen Debuchy play tonight, and he'd have put Arnautovic into Rosetta, and we'd had in the first.
Yeah. I don't think Wenger would be playing Debuchy in an away game just at right back anyway. Right now, I just don't think he would. I don't know how long. Yeah, but to be fair, anyone could have played that position tonight. He wasn't really tested defensively. He didn't, even though he wasn't. The offside goal did come from his side, and that was from him not closing down the cross as well. But I don't know what he's under no pressure, to be honest. We just got such an unbalanced squad that was the pressure for him? What's the consequences if he plays bad?
None.
Nothing.
Absolutely bad. Wet hair, that's it. Final note for the first half. Giroud killed Cresswell. It's like a scene from South Park. Should Giroud keep trying these wonderful scorpion bicycle overhead Pele kicks? Andy, what do you reckon? I think that says it all, doesn't it?
Not when we're 0-0. You've done nothing in the match to contribute. No. The thing with again, I like Giroud as a player, but there's too much flair. I call him Mr. One Touch. Everything's got to be a one-touch pass. I just wish he could turn and shoot. He's got to score the perfect goal. It's got to be a beautiful goal. I get that it was high in the air and he tried it, but at the end of the day, I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of trying to see him do everything himself and try and make everything so beautiful and pretty. And, it's a dangerous play. He's lucky. I saw a lot of people scream, well, we should have gotten a handball or a penalty for the handball. And I'm just thinking, well, his foot should never be that high. He was above the player's head. So at the end of the day, my sigh is just all I can say about it, because it's the same Giroud week after week. And that's never going in.
And it is quite dangerous as well. And he did realise straight away that Cresswell was hurt. Luckily, I mean they're all professionals and they should be more careful doing that. But when you've got a bloke who 6'4", when he's trying to be like a ballerina or an overhead kick into there, you've got to go, whoa, everyone get out the way. He's doing it again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's worked a couple of times and he's had great results through it. But yeah, when we are in that position, like you say, it's not a good idea. Like someone's formerly noticed, who does he think he is? Bergkamp. And Daniel Cronin, don't hate Giroud because he's beautiful. Yeah, A10, I think that's meant to say Anthony A. Guys, nothing will change until he leaves. Wenger needs to go. It's so sad. What an ego we get has. What an ego we get. I think that's predictive texting. Remember when Allardyce said, we get has an ego. You've got fat fingers or predictive text or both. Schwinn's there. Hello, Mr. Schwinn, who's had transfer talks with Mr. Davis in the week to possibly make a loan appearance. We're only trying out new people because it's Christmas and a lot of they've made it to the big time, so they don't have to bother anymore. He goes, Schwinn puts, are we being too cynical here? West Ham were stubborn and have been rejuvenated since Moyes has taken over. They did beat Chelsea this past weekend. Yeah, that's very true. I think, Mike's using his own thing, his own account. Oh, Andy, that's never going in is something you cannot say about Olivier. Right, we've now been going for 31 minutes. We're on to the second half already. Loved it all. End of the first half, 11 shots, 1 on target. It's all gone a little bit Man United. So the second half begins, 46th minute. Well, it wasn't. It's 45 minutes and about 32 seconds. I put 30 seconds in after kickoff. Arnautovic has split our defence yet again. Fem, what's your thoughts on Arnautovic tonight? And is it a miracle that one man could take on 3 or 4 defenders constantly for 90 minutes?
Panic stations, wasn't it? Every time.
I kind of expected it in the background.
Half-time team talks must be amazing at Arsenal because we always come out for this. I remember I was listening to the radio show actually, and I think you had Alan Alger on. He was talking about the cones at half-time. I don't know if you remember where the coach comes out and places the cones and he tells them that they need to warm up between the cones. And Alan was saying that I go to every home game and I watch that and the players just walk past those cones like they don't care, honestly. And you can see just the attitude of this squad is just whatever happens. But we come on to some of the other chances later, but it was literally 1, maybe 2 West Ham players and running at us, and we just looked panicked all the time.
It's just been pointed out to me that in this tweets that we're doing, I've put 2 goners rather than gooners, and so Liam Gayhurst has tweeted me and gone, 2 goners, is Wenger one of them? I think that's wishful thinking. I didn't ask you, Fem, from your notes, is there anything that we missed from your notes in the first half?
No. Welby hits the shot, giving the ball away at the back. Yeah. Bellerin and Xhaka.
All the way through the first half, giving the ball away.
Giving the ball away. Nothing.
Okay, right. Well, Andy, as he was quite an important player, do you want to say anything about Arnautovic? I thought the C word.
No, he played well tonight, but we allowed him to play well. And as you said, how can you let a player of his caliber walk through 3 or 4 players? It's just we have that, don't we? This season, we turn keepers into Manuel Neuer and we turn forwards into Messi, and there's nothing more you can say about it. He's unfortunate not to have gotten more out of the match, and I think Femster was saying they had 34 touches. Every time they got the ball, I was nervous.
Yeah.
Mr. Davis has gone War and Peace here, so I shall read you it because it's very succinct. We could just read this and then close the show. He's put, you have Ozil and Sanchez dropping too deep. If you pass the ball to Sanchez, you know there is a counter-attack coming next. The striker has 2 or 3 men on him at all times. The width from our wing-backs is poor and ineffective, and our midfield gets outnumbered too often. Combine that with a defence that does not communicate and is spooked due to the number of counter-attacks we allow, and we are like a cat on a hot tin roof. And Steve's left a 2.5-minute message reply to that, but it's audio because Steve doesn't do typing. He has a boy that does the typing for him, and it's his night off. Right, so, here we go, 50th minute. Shocker. Xhaka has a shot on target. I did actually put for the first half, but I wasn't going to read it. Xhaka has his 45th minute shot into Rose Ed to let everybody know it's time to go and get their pie, tea, coffee, and a wee. Just for those who are frozen to death in the Rose Eds up there. So Xhaka had he must have had about 3 or 4 of those shots today, and one of them was on target, which is really nice.
Because there was no movement in front of him, Danny. So what else has he got to do?
Yeah, kick the ball with frustration. 52nd minute, another Ainsley, Maitland-Niles. I always put AMN, so it could be anything. A lovely right-footed cross to Giroud, which was people all over Giroud, so Giroud was struggling. 55 minutes. Now, this did look like a bit of a good build-up, bit of ping-pong tennis in the box. Ozil puts it wide, great build-up, but he wasn't expecting the ball, which I think would have been an assist off of someone's face, Fem.
Yeah. I'm just all of these things just blended into one in the second half. I think I blacked out and I was thinking we were still playing Southampton, trying to break them down.
Normally by about an hour into games like this, I stop writing notes, but I felt obliged to
stop writing notes. Actually, after an hour, I was like, "Check is useless." That's my last note.
Oh dear. So did you feel sorry for Ozil tonight? Because every time we did anything, he had people around him. And he must have gone, there's no point. I've got Giroud up front. Get the balls, get them wide, loft them in. Then Giroud can do his magic.
No. Yeah, and then we brought Lacazette on and put him wide. What?
Yeah, with 8 minutes to go.
Pretty amazing, isn't it? Oh.
Don't ruin it. We ain't got to that bit yet.
Shit, sorry. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Here you go, Andy. Here's another good bit. 56th minute. I'll just put MN. Maitland-Niles v Arnautovic. Maitland-Niles didn't back down. Good man. That's what I like to see. Fronting up to him. Lovely.
I got really excited when Xhaka ran over. I thought, oh, here's a headbutt.
Yeah. Well, yes.
But we just saw him step in between and push him away. But you know what? We lack balls on this team. And so if Kolasinac isn't playing, at least we got someone back there that's going to square up to someone. I appreciate that in a player.
But John, what the Welsh kept saying in the WhatsApp group, I'd love to see Maitland-Niles played in the position that he wants to play, and imagine him in midfield running everyone ragged. That'd be something really nice to see. Right, this is one for you, Femster. 66th minute. Check flapped at Arnautovic, who shoved Koz into him, and they put the ball over. Is this worrying?
Yeah, luckily. It's funny enough, we didn't even know what the foul was for at first until the second replay. But I think that's when I wrote check is useless. and to be honest, I wrote a little side note on that. I said, is it him that's causing a panic in the defense, or is it the defense that's causing him to panic? Because something just isn't right between them. And the worst part is they work on this. They have 4 weeks to work on this, unlike usual seasons, because they're not playing in the Europa League. They've had weeks off where they could have literally sat down by themselves as a defense and worked on this. So what is going on? Is it's just getting worse, not even better.
Yeah. Can you lot in the chat window find out who left the thumbs down and then beat them to within an inch of their life?
It was Mike.
It probably was because inter-pod rivalry. Did anybody see that NFL game at the weekend where they were about knee-deep in snow?
Yes, Buffalo versus Indianapolis. That was awesome.
Wow. And the Dolphins won. They finally beat New England, who I think must have...
I've always wondered why you're a Dolphins fan.
Because of back in the early mid-80s, it was NFL was first shown on Channel 4 in the UK back when we only had 4 channels. And Miami were good back in the early 80s. I was conned. Been let down.
Was it Dan Marino in Ace Ventura?
that kind of cemented it. I thought, that's it. It's got the star is in it. It's going to be all right. No, shit. Didn't have the quarterback. I couldn't name a single player now that Ajayi's gone. Fucking idiots.
Jay Cutler, the worst quarterback in the league.
Yeah, he's terrible.
It's
a good game against New England, though.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah.
Chris Erzl, I don't think they're interrelated, has sent me a message on Twitter saying, "Nice Christmas tree, Dan." Thank you very much. Right, where were we up to on my notes? 70th minute. Welbeck on for Wobie. From the pointless to the slightly less pointless, but still pointless, Andy.
I tweeted I would like to see Welbeck come on, and he went wide, and I thought to myself, he hasn't touched the ball for the first 10 minutes he's been on the pitch. So yeah, I mean, here's my thing. If you're a fringe player, I want to see you come onto the pitch. I want to see you hunt that ball down, take it forward, and attack. And we didn't see that from any of the players. And substitution-wise, I thought they were put in the wrong positions. Lacazette and Welbeck were pushed out wide. The ball never got to him. And then the few times it did get to Welbeck, he fucking dribbled it to nobody. I mean, he had an absolute poor, terrible match. But at that point, why not just keep Iwobi on? At least he took some shots. But yeah, I don't know. It was just an atrocious game.
Fair, many views on Welbeck, the Welbeck Iwobi conundrum.
I think Arspod called him Hellbeck at one point.
I don't know. Once again, I mean, with substitutions with Arsenal, it's like you bring players on and you keep the same system that isn't working, and you just stick another player there. It's probably not going to work, to be honest with you. You're probably just going to have now a player that's not fresh coming into the game. So a player that's not adapted to the speed of the game that's coming in, and it doesn't really change anything. If you don't change your formation or change something about the way you're playing, you might as well put Ospina out wide, to be honest with you. It wouldn't have made a difference.
Do you remember the days when we used to say that if Iwobi or Welbeck or Giroud left us as a top 3 club, would he get a move to another top 3 club? Well, we've made ourselves a top 7 club, so they don't need to move. We've got the players we deserve. Oh, dear. No, this is just a culmination of being an Arsenal fan, people. You know what we like. We always love to moan. We've got a 0-0 away draw in the Premier League, and against like one of these 2 points out, a resurgent West Ham team, with a manager who doesn't exactly go for it, although Arnautovic seemed to be a one-man force tonight. 72nd minute, Andy. Good Sanchez free kick after another foul on Jack Wilshere. Adrian saves it, which I thought, we had a free kick on target, which is quite shocking.
Yeah, it was a beautiful save. Adrian's done a lot to put himself as that number 1 keeper at West Ham, and especially when it's wet. He got it on target with some speed. It was just a beautiful save. It's unfortunate.
Fem, 82nd. I've put a 78th minute. Welbeck failed, pointless player, but I won't bring that up again. 82nd minute. Fem, Sanchez off for Laka. Is that 82 minutes too late on the 82nd minute? And what's your thoughts on the fact that when Lacazette starts, he comes off at the late 60s, early 70s, but when Giroud starts and does nothing for 82 minutes because he couldn't, then Sanchez and Lacazette must be thinking, hold on, if this is the other way around, I'll be sitting on my arse by now. What are your thoughts?
What a substitution, right? What a substitution this was. 82nd minute. I just don't. I mean, we're actually killing Lacazette's confidence. Probably he came in the club buzzing. He makes good runs. If you watch him live, I know that's not. It's a very football pundit thing to say, but if you watch him live, wow, he makes so many runs off the board. He never gets the ball gets the ball played into him, because we love this passing around. So we bring off Sanchez. I thought it was. To be fair, he was playing better than he did against Southampton. And we bring on Lacazette with 8 minutes to go, and then we stick him out wide left, and we leave Giroud up front. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It's like, are we gonna change to 4-4-2? You know, maybe start playing direct. You haven't tried that. Try something different. Go direct. Let Giroud flick it on to Lacazette. It might not be pretty to watch, but what we're watching isn't pretty to watch either. You know, we're just passing the ball round in circles. Go long. Let Giroud flick it on for Lacazette. Try something. It's not going to hurt you defensively because they're not attacking you.
Andy, do you agree? And do you think that maybe him taking Sanchez off is maybe maybe to teach him a lesson?
No, I don't think any lessons are being taught. I don't think Sanchez had a great game today. He didn't do much outside of the free kick. At least he didn't lose possession 30 plus times. But I agree with Femster. We weren't doing anything. What's the point in bringing him on in the 82nd minute? I mean, that's why we get injuries, is because these players come on, they say, okay, I've got about 10 minutes. I'm going to overexert myself to make something happen. In the 50th minute, 60th minute, we saw that we were playing the same match we've been playing every away game this season, you know, and trying to break him down. And so when I saw Welbeck come on, I thought to myself, all right, he's going to go up front with Giroud, and he's going to make those runs in and around the defenders for Giroud to try and pinpoint those passes. And then when Laka came on, the first thing he did was run central and make sideways runs, but the defenders for West Ham didn't even move, because at the end of the day, we were going through Giroud and only Giroud. And so it was very, very frustrating that we didn't have a plan B. And our plan B, as everyone says, is we bring on these world-class signings like Lacazette, but we didn't utilize him correctly. We just stuck him out wide, and he didn't get the opportunity to even put one on net. And that's what's frustrating, is that we keep wasting it. And as Femster said, I believe, is that we're breaking his confidence, because I don't get why we're always substituting him at 70th minute, and I don't understand why you're just giving him 8 minutes to come on. At that point, save him. I mean, it's raining, it's cold, who gives a shit at this point, right? I mean, if you're not going to come in with a plan B, then just don't bring him on. But if you're going to say to him and Welbeck, hey, this is what we're doing, this is our change, excellent. But all he did was he plugged and placed like for like, and nothing happened.
Very true. Jeffrey O'Hara makes a decent point. Our football was good today. We played against a 5-4-1 parked bus all game. Well, that's true. We have acknowledged that fact.
Well, you can say that. I've seen a couple of people saying that we weren't that bad, but we've won 2 away games. That's the problem. When you're playing catch up, you can't keep saying that. So if every team now plays like this, is that it? Are we finished? Are we going to finish 9th, 10th? Where are we going?
These are the matches that City will go in and roll 3 or 4-0, and we can't even get. How many shots on target do we have today?
Oh, I just saw it. We had 3 shots on target.
Yeah,
I didn't count the 3. Where was the 3?
One of them must have been Sanchez's free kick. But at the end of the day, you know, when you look at, we just don't have that depth on our bench. We don't have it's great to see Jack in, but Jack's only playing because Ramsey's injured. You know, and we look at the likes of a City and United and what they can bring on to change a match. Well, great, but those players are given instruction. Our players aren't. So when you bring Lacazette on, everyone's thinking, great, he can make a difference. With 8 minutes left, it's a stretch, but then not to give him instruction, not to say to him, as Femster said, work off of Giroud. Go in there and say to Giroud, give me the ball, like, get the ball, and I'll make those runs and find me. There was none of that. There was no communication when these players came on. It's so frustrating.
Mike's taking a piss out of the number of times you say the end of the day. Well, it is the end of the day, so you're allowed to say it. It's nearly midnight.
I hate that guy. I don't even know why I'm friends with him. His wife pays me a lot of money.
Yes. Well, 88th minute, Arnautovic runs our defence ragged, and Noble lays the ball off to Chicharito. I didn't spell that, I just put Chi. And he thinks he scored. Wow, utter shambles. How lucky were we to get away with that, Fem?
Yeah.
That was a nervous laugh.
You know what? I actually thought the referee was going to turn around and point to his watch. I don't even know what happened. All I know is if you don't stop crosses, this is going to keep happening. Don't know if Steve Bold talks, if he gets off, maybe he's still sitting on the bench. He seems to sit on the bench all the time. and he should be telling them, you have to come up with a strategy defensively, something different. This the shot comes in. I don't know what's going on, to be honest. I expected the goal to be given. Yeah, that's it. I don't know.
Loki and Rudy are having a bit of an argy-bargy, but as they're both regulars, you can both get on with it, and neither of you will be put on the timeout thing. They've got to be quite litigious. Anyway, carry on as you were.
Tony Pulis is available.
Final note I made, Andy, is 92nd minute. Zabaleta brings down Welbeck for a yellow card. I thought FK hits the wall. I don't think it was FK. I think the free kick hits the wall. Were you going, that's it, we can do it? Or were you thinking it's an Arsenal free kick? I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up being an own goal for us.
A small part of me thought, all right, Ozil's over this. This could go in. But it was just one of those days, Danny. Nothing fell our way. We were atrocious, and that summed up the match, right? Just kicking it right into the wall.
Yes, that's very true.
We attempted 23 crosses today.
We attempted 23 crosses,
and we only connected with 7, or successful with 7 out of 23. So what was the point of playing Giroud, to be honest with you?
I mean, are we that predictable of a team as when the starting 11 comes out, the other manager sees Giroud and just says, all right, one of you just sit on him. Always be goal side and just sit on him, because they're just going to play that. He adds nothing dimensional to his game except for the one touch and the header. So it's easy for a defender. At least with Lacazette, with Sanchez, they're dropping a little bit deep to get the ball. They run at the defenders. They turn and shoot. There's elements to their game. Giroud doesn't offer that for us.
Right, we've got to the end of my notes. So people, if you have any questions, put the big letter Q in the box, and I shall read them without my brain editing them. Petito says the crosses were all low. Yeah, that's exactly what we want, isn't it? When you've got Giroud playing there, who's anything but low. Easy handlers, but Niles is garbage. Bloody Jesus. Right, love Baba. Lock the front door. Mike has put question, is Mike a C word? Answer, yes. He's answering his own. He's giving himself grief. Earlier on, Anthony gave us a thumbs down. He even said that he gave us a thumbs down, but we're still going to read your question, Anthony, because we care. Wenger said congested fixtures is why we drew. What we play once a week. I think we all feel your pain there, Anthony. Rudy says, and what does Laka offer then? Well, goals. The ability to run in and out, I suppose. Oh, here we go. A proper question from Everything Rude. This one for you, Fem. He says, should we send Wenger out on loan? I think that's your
you know
answer.
what? Something about what you said a minute ago, it was like a little comment that someone said about Wenger saying we're tired, we only play once a week. I think we're like the first team out of the top teams that have not played in the Champions League that their results have got worse.
It's true. If we were Chelsea or Liverpool, we'd be top of the league.
Chelsea got better, Liverpool got better. It's really weird.
Right, I got a question for you, Andy, from Jeffrey O'Hara. He says, did Jack earn a spot in the starting 11 for the next game? I'd say the next 30 or 40 games.
If he's healthy, he should be the first name on the sheet, in my opinion. But I thought he was tremendous today. He hunted the ball. He made movement when he got forward. I think that it was a little bit wasted with Giroud because there's just that tall statue. But yeah, I would love to see a different mixture in our midfield, and I think it starts with Jack.
Don wants to know, when am I getting my tooth fixed? Sean, I've got the dentist on the 20th of December. What are you doing that day? Because I'm not going to the dentist anymore, am I? That's it, Dom. I can't go now because some shitbag is going up to bloody Nottingham for a market thing. Anyway, yeah, where she spent the last 3 months. Right, so... Rudy. Well, Rudy's asked a question before. Is that especially away from home? What does Laka do better? Oh, right, yeah. So Rudy's point was, what does Laka do better away from home? Yeah, because he has got a point there, as Rudy always does, that Laka only seems to perform at home. Well, at least someone is. Anthony said he unthumbed it. He was just trolling, you cheeky monkey. Michael Harneyman, question for Fem. Would you sell Alexis and Ozil in January just so we actually get money for them? Oh, that's a good question.
I was just picking that question to put it in our chat box, actually.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Synchronicity.
I would sell at least one of them. That sounds so controversial, but we're 7th with them. We're not going to finish lower than 7th unless something amazing happens. So I think we'll finish above Burnley, but I don't see us finishing in the top 4.
It's not to shout about, is it?
Exactly. So I think to stop them going to an English rival, I would just take 20, 15 million and just sell them. I would even, I was thinking about this today. I'd sell Jack Wilshere in January as well. That sounds so bad.
Burn the witch.
Do you know why? Because we're not planning on giving him a new contract. Let's be honest about it. If we were going to, we would have given it to him ages ago. You're better off just getting a little bit of money for these guys, because come the summer, we're going to need major rebuilding. And if we've got all these players that have gone out on a free, where do you think Stan Kroenke's going to give Wenger more money?
True. Andy, have you got 5 more minutes, or should we start to wrap this up?
We will need to wrap it up, but I just want to echo, if we do sell, we have to buy. And are we going to buy if we do? You know, and so there it is, right?
Okay. Right, just a couple of more notes. Formerly knows, I said that's a great idea, loan Wenger to PSG. Jimmy Housen says, Dom's busy deleting stuff. Well done, Dom. At least someone's turned up. He says, we played 4-5-1 today. Is this the start of going back to the old formation? I think it's more of a sign of desperation and players been injured. Do you two agree?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Schwinn says, guys, if he starts singing, I'm not going to read this. Lots of emotion here, but if you had to single out one reason for the disappointing result, what would it be? I attribute it to West Ham, not us. Oh, you can both answer that, and then we'll end the show. So, Fem, what do you put down tonight, sir? Schwinn wants to know.
No, I don't attribute it to West Ham, because if every team plays like West Ham, does that mean we're never winning another game?
Yes. Andy, what do you put it down to?
I put it down to lack of direction from our coaches and management, and I think there's a lack of a plan B.
Oh, and congratulations! Tonight winner is it an M? Inaski Estivo were the first person to get banned. Don't fuck with Dom unless you're a honey badger. Aussie Justice. That's exactly what it is. So yes, well. Thank you very much, people. If you've enjoyed this podcast, you leave it a thumbs up. If you haven't, we've been Gooners in the USA. If people want to get you on Twitter, Fem, what's your Twitter at?
At Femster82. Follow.
There you go. I do follow you, so that must mean you're decent. And Andy, what's your Twitter at and what's your podcast at?
It's at Gooner in Denver, or you can follow us at Gooners in the USA, and that's our podcast name. Come over and listen to me try and explain football. Mike just heavy breathes, and every once in a while we have a great guest on. And Femster, we're going to have to get you on soon.
Oh, definitely. I'm up for that.
Yes. Right, we've just had a West Ham fan coming here. Don't worry, Mr. Buzzfox. I do like the West Ham, but the irony, if you do go down in that shit stadium, I really loved Upton Park, and I quite like West Ham. Always put, I'm sorry, we well played tonight. You did well, and Wilshere was amazing. A lot of teams are struggling to break us at the moment, so don't feel too bad. Well, thank you very much, Buzzfox. And on that wonderful note, everybody say goodbye and wave. And I will slowly fade us out into the distance. Jingle bells, jingle all the way.